Annie Lennox, singer, songwriter, and longtime activist, founder of the Sing campaign and International AIDS ambassador.
Good evening, everybody. It is absolutely wonderful to be here, along with my fellow activists, friends, and campaigners. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to address you here at the 18th Global AIDS Conference. I've been campaigning on the issue of HIV and AIDS since 2003, when I was invited to take part in the launch of Nelson Mandela's 46664 HIV/AIDS campaign, and a concert that was held in Cape Town in South Africa. And really my life changed from that point on. We were invited, that is the artists, to join with Nelson Mandela the following day on Robben Island, the place where Madiba had been incarcerated for so many years. He stood in the former prison exercise yard of the prison and addressed the world's press, describing the HIV/AIDS pandemic as a genocide that was affecting women and children at an insurmountable rate. This word, genocide, shook me for various reasons, one of them being this. This was Nelson Mandela, one of the most revered and respected individuals on the planet, describing the HIV/AIDS pandemic as a genocide. And I thought, I haven't heard that before. Who's listening? Who's responding? We are the people here tonight who have responded and who are continuing to respond. And I took a pledge in that moment when I understood that I would respond, that I would become a campaigner because of my gender initially, because I am a woman and women are being affected at such a tremendous rate. The face of AIDS has changed dramatically since the 80s. I have had the privilege of great medical care, all the things that we are talking about human rights earlier. We in the West, we live in a bubble of human rights, actually. We are used to human rights. But when I look at my gender in other countries, in developing countries, in places like sub-Saharan Africa, where is the protection of my gender's human rights? And how could it be that the rainbow nation in South Africa, the country that had given us so much hope, hope over despair, despair at apartheid, how could it be that on a daily basis, for over a decade, almost 1,000 people dying, mothers leaving millions of orphaned children behind? How could that be? Are we not enraged? Do they not have the right to life? I joined Treatment Action Campaign. I became a very active campaigner. I spoke up and continue to speak up about the issue that profoundly affects me. And I look on this issue of HIV and AIDS very much in parallel with the anti-apartheid movement. I was hugely inspired today to witness the Deputy President of South Africa standing on the stage alongside the Director of UN AIDS, Michel Sidibe. That was a historical moment, and one that we must not forget. It signifies a huge change in the sense of the commitment of the South African government once and for all to roll up its sleeves and to acknowledge the pandemic and to commit to making significant change. And we must celebrate that. We must celebrate that. We must see it as a positive step. We must support the South African government in all its attempts. It's a huge challenge, but we must see this as a light, as a beacon of hope over despair, just in the same way that Nelson Mandela and the anti-apartheid movement and the ANC and all the people that fought against apartheid are a very special symbol of hope over despair. Let us recommit this year, in 2010, to doubling and strengthening our efforts of support and making sure that the message reaches the people who need to hear it, the governments, government leaders, civil society, all the people that can make the difference. And the difference can be made. And I'm going to illustrate that with you now. I want to share the story of a little girl. Her name is Avalile. Avalile's story travels with me wherever I go, and I campaign all over the world. This is a photograph of Avalile, a little girl who was born HIV positive. Avalile's mother died of AIDS. This child in this photograph is weighing less than a 1-year-old baby. Avalile in this photograph is struggling to survive. She has full-blown AIDS and pneumonia. Avalile represents millions of children in sub-Saharan Africa and in other parts of the world. And in this instance, Avalile had access to good medical care and nutrition. 5 months after this photograph was taken, we went back to the Eastern Cape where she was living. And I want to share the photograph of her transformation with you now. Isn't that inspiring? Doesn't that make you feel that every single moment that you have spent campaigning and working on behalf of people who are struggling with this issue, doesn't it make it seem worthwhile? Don't you think her life is worth saving? Everywhere I go, I wear my HIV positive t-shirt. It is my tool so that when people take my photograph, it's not just a picture of Annie Lennox. It's a picture of a woman standing in solidarity with every single person in the world who is suffering with this virus. It should not be stigmatized. It must come out of the closet and be normalized. That is the message. There should be no more shame at HIV. So let's not wait for another 10 years. Let's not wait for 5 years. Let's not even wait for one more day. Let's commit here and now, here in Vienna. Let's recommit to all the work that we have done and we will continue to do until we see universal access. It is achievable. It can be done. Thank you.